We are Carrie and Josh. We are sharing things that, in our experience, worked for us and could also work for you.
All right, 1 month in, the MAF update for the week includes the MAF test. It was very happily surprising to see the MAF test and see the results of a month of work. I'll give you the times and the paces for each of the miles, and we'll do a little comparison. So my first MAF test a month ago was a 7:45 first mile, and this one was a 7:06 first mile. Now, I have since moved to a quality Garmin, thank you to a friend. I never know if I should trust the watch, but for the most part over the month it was where it needed to be, my cheapy little Magellan. So first mile was that. The second mile, my first MAF test was 8:26, and this one was 7:46. And then my third one in my first MAF test was 8:55, and in this MAF test was 7:43. So in my first one, each mile went up, which is kind of what it should be. And I was really surprised that my third mile was lower than my second, running at the heart rate. So it shows that those longer runs, the 5 and the 7.5 mile runs that I'm putting in at the heart rate, are really paying off, and so impressed with the results. Now, I'm not sure how second month is supposed to go, if there's going to be big jumps again, or if it's just going to be a little incremental jump up, but I'm really liking where this is going. I plan to do it for a 3-month chunk. I usually break my training seasons into 3-month chunks. So I'm for sure going to stick with this for 3 months. Hopefully the weather helps and it's not too bad on the roads for running. But that kind of wraps up my MAF training for the first month with some very good times and improvements. So excited to see where it goes from here. For these delicious, healthier, and very filling cookies, I might add, it's a pretty easy recipe. In here I have 2 cups of oatmeal, and then I took 2 cups of oatmeal and processed them in the food processor to get some oat flour. Added another 1.5 cups of flour. We use gluten-free. I put a little sunflower seeds. I've done walnuts. You can do calls for walnuts, but I've done sunflower seeds and I really like them. I've thrown some chocolate chips. I've thrown in raisins. You're supposed to throw in the nuts and the raisins after you've mixed the liquid. It's just as easy to throw it in before, and it turns out just fine. One thing I did have to do, and we'll walk to the other side of the kitchen, is I upped the water intake a little bit, just because of the gluten-free flour. It soaks up a little more of the moisture. So there we have some bananas that were frozen that are now mushy. So we had 3 bananas. We have some vanilla. We've got 2 tablespoons of flax, and the recipe called for a cup of sugar, but I took it down to a 1/2 cup. One, it makes it a little healthier, but it really is sweet enough with those 3 bananas. So I will process all of this. There'll be some coconut oil in there too. It's melting for me right now. And then you just mix it all up. The hardest part is when you put it on the pan, you got to have your hands wet, or the dough will completely stick to your hands. So you have to keep putting water on your hands when you mold it into the cookies. And then you just bake for a 1/2 hour at 350, and they are fabulous. And there they come on, all golden and brown. You can leave them in a little longer for a crunchier finish. Leave them in a little less for a more chewy finish. Personally, I like the chewy cookies. And there's no eggs in there. There's the flaxseed instead. So cooking time is whatever you get to hold the cookies together, because there's nothing in there that's going to be raw. So there they are, ready to eat. Alright, these bad boys are my workout highlight for the week. If you are in the market for some dumbbells, these PowerBlock ones are amazing. Here's the weights. You can start from 10 pounds and go all the way up to, well, it goes to 70. I've got it up to the blue right now. I've purchased up to the 50. Now, they are a little pricey. They're about $300, but I've had these for 10 years, and like, that's it. That's all the rust that's on them, and they're actually sitting out in my garage. I cover them with a towel in between, but they're amazing. So when you're doing like the 10 and the 15 and all of those, so it actually is, the ones I've got set up are the bottom rows, but you can flip this little switch and you can pull it out and you can take out little cores so you can get all of those weights. But they're super easy to adjust. You just look over here. We'll slide these out of the way. All you do is you pop one out and you move it over, and they're super easy. You can go from curls to presses to everything you need, all in this one set of dumbbells. And again, they are solid. They are meant to last. The only problem I had one time was when I dropped it and I broke the plastic piece here. For like 10 bucks, I got a new one. But yeah, like I said, I'd say 10 years of pretty steady use. Barely any rust on them at all. And I take pretty good care of them, but I mean, $300 was an investment, but it's lasted longer than a lot of pieces of fitness equipment I've got. So PowerBlock dumbbells are a great addition to your fitness repertoire, to your home gym. For the words of wisdom this week, we're going to go in the time machine back in time to a great movie with Richard Dreyfuss and Bill Murray. What About Bob? And in that movie, the psychiatrist, Richard Dreyfuss, is trying to teach Bill Murray that he can overcome his anxieties with baby steps. And while the movie is humorous and funny and everything, it actually has some really great points to it. And just, it can apply to anything. Are you trying to learn a language? Well, you're not going to learn it in one shot. You're going to need to take baby steps and learn little bits at a time. The same if you're, trying to lose weight. If you're doing it in a healthy way, you're not going to have a big drop right away. It's going to take baby steps, small actionable steps to get better. So what are you going to do to get better? And I thought of this as I was reflecting on the process of the last month's MAF training, and how at the beginning it was, oh my goodness, everything's staying the same. I'm not seeing any improvements. I'm not seeing any changes, but just stick with the process, trust the process, and baby steps. And then that after that second week, that third week was a wow, great change. Fourth week, still good times. That led to that MAF test after 4 weeks, and all those times were fabulous. So just take those actionable steps. Find something you want to achieve, you want to get better at, and find those baby steps where it will move you on the path to get where you need to go, and trust the process that you will get there if you're taking the right steps. And if you get a chance, go watch the movie What About Bob? It's pretty funny.